Good morning, Facebook. So, hello, hang on, just let me start this. Right. Good morning. Hello, friends on Facebook. So, this is Daily Mish, episode 2. And the time now is 9:40. I've just got to keep an eye on the clock because I want this to be short but effective, or actually value adding, and at the same time I'm off for an appointment in 10 minutes time. So right, so what have I been up to? I was up till 3:30 a.m. yesterday, editing a video clip that you will hopefully see later today, and it took me 2.5 hours to close to 3 hours to edit a video clip of 3.5 minutes. You know, a lot of friends say, like, are you crazy? Why are you up till 2 or 3 in the morning every day? Okay, not 3. I try to keep it to about 1:30. I do go to bed about 1:30 or latest 2 a.m. if possible. Answer is simply because, one, there's just so much work to be done, and as a mom during the day, it's impossible, near impossible, and very difficult definitely to find time consistently throughout the day, because the kids are coming in, or they need to be picked up, they need to be brought to the doctor. There's just things to do, and so I don't really get chunks of time. I get bits of time, like half an hour here, an hour there, but you know, sometimes you just need to focus and concentrate, and I don't get that as a mum. So therefore, number one, I'm often up till very late trying to catch up on work. Number two, I'm very much on social media. So you know, for me, being in Singapore, America wakes up or is up around midnight our time, and that's when I get most engagement on my Instagram. So I have to be there to chat to people, because it doesn't help if I'm responding to their comments about 12 hours later. They're gone, and it's like, you know, being in a meeting room. You don't set a meeting for 12 o'clock and then you turn up 6 hours later. And that's the same thing about social media. You need to be consistent. You need to turn up every day, or every other day, or every 3 days, but whatever that rhythm you set it to be, you need to be consistent about it. And I think this is definitely something I learned since starting social media, starting my business. But I also then realized how it translates into life. Consistency. I fundamentally believe that anyone and everyone can paint. I am very grateful that I have this gift to translate colors into a visual image, because I think in colors. But I really do think if one sets their mind to it, they can really paint something very beautiful. And what is beautiful? Beautiful to them. But you know, it's about consistency. When I first started out, I wasn't that great, but I've learned to be consistent and just keep chipping at it and going at it and persisting, and slowly getting into the hang of it. And I think that applies to life, like many things and many other things. What do you think? So yesterday I had a question about what is the difference between acrylic paint and oil paint. Thank you, Idrew, for your question. You know what? When I started out 5 years ago, I asked myself exactly that same question. I think there is this misconception out there that an oil painting is a lot more valuable than acrylic painting. And that is so not true. It doesn't take additional skills. I'm sorry to the oil painters out there, but I personally think it doesn't take additional skills to paint with oil paint compared to any other medium. They are just mediums. They're different ways to bring an image to life. So it's like, I'm thinking it's like reaching an end goal or going to a marathon. You can choose to cycle, you can choose to walk, you can choose to run or jog, but how you get there doesn't really matter as long as you get there. And obviously, depending on the different way you choose to get there, you may end up looking quite different. Like if you were running, you would be quite sweaty. If you were strolling, you would still look pretty good. But if you were cycling, you know, you would have pretty windswept hair, I think. So the difference between acrylic and oil paint is first of all, organic. Oil paint is one of like the original paints that was developed years and years and years ago, what Van Gogh and Picasso and all of them used. And acrylic paint is something that's a lot more recent. It's modern. It's actually like plastic. The ingredient of acrylic is almost like the ingredients of plastic, essentially, actually. For me, fundamentally, I use acrylic paint for my children's painting because there are certain toxic elements in oil paint that is toxic to children and babies especially. So therefore I don't use it. Secondly, oil paint takes a long time to dry, especially in this humid weather in Singapore. It can take up to months or a year or years to dry completely. So that's why, you know, in the past, you know, you do not touch a painting because a lot of the paintings can still be very wet. Acrylic paint dries so quickly. So it's another challenge to paint with because it dries so quickly. You need to be really quick. But acrylic paint does not have, acrylic paint you mix with water and you paint onto your canvas or whatever surface. And oil paint you use oil as a medium because it's an organic paint. But having said that, I am now painting with a water-soluble oil paint. So it is meant to be less toxic because my children are constantly coming into the room. I don't really want them to be inhaling toxic fumes. So the water-soluble oil paint is a lot more child-friendly. But at the same time, the colors I find are not as developed yet. The pigmentation is not as developed as, you know, the oil paints, the traditional oil paints, where the colors are really rich and beautiful and and has this shine, this amazing natural shine. So yes, these are the fundamental differences between oil paint and acrylic paint. Let me know if you have any other questions, any random questions. I'd love to answer them. Okay, all right. So with that, I shall say bye and have a great day. See ya.